Thanks for tuning in to the Hateful Geeks. Tonight, we're going to be going over the DC Cinematic Universe. We're going to be starting with our Man of Steel inquiries and moving on to everything from Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Wonder Woman trailer. And tonight, I'm going to get Andy to admit that Ben Affleck is the superior Batman. Thanks for tuning in again to the Hateful Geeks. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the DC Comics Cinematic Universe, starting with Man of Steel all the way to our hopes and dreams for the Justice League. I'm Phil.
I'm Andy.
I'm Sweeney.
I'm Tim.
And tonight, we're going to get into it, and we're going to hate on some shit.
Well, that's because DC is by far the inferior cinematic universe.
Whoa, this is not a comparison.
Oh, it better be because it's awful.
We're talking strictly in its own universe right now. DC is so far like, what, they're like 50-50. They got like a half and half batting average, which sucks because everyone in this room is a massive DC fan.
Right. But they've shit the bed like over and over.
They started off so well, and like Snyder's doing so great, and then everyone just kind of, well, you know what? I'm a firm believer that Snyder's films are pretty much the only saving grace of the DC universe right now. We'll get into that later, but if we're going to start, we're going to talk about Man of Steel.
All right, Man of Steel.
Jumping point, it's like, what would you consider? Like the Iron Man. Iron Man started the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right?
For sure. Yeah. And we actually get Superman that we want. No offense to any of the previous Superman movies, but they weren't the Superman we wanted, ever.
We couldn't do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, Christopher Reeves was definitely a golden age Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And, underpants on the outside Superman, as I like to call them. Cats out of trees, like, don't eat a lot of carbs, kids, like that kind of Superman. But his powers, like from the comic book, don't translate well when the height of your technology is a fucking string belt.
I can agree with that. But after Christopher Reeves, those movies. What was that guy's name?
Brandon Routh in Superman Returns in general is just such a boring movie.
Kevin Spacey is one of the only saving graces.
I don't think even Kevin Spacey could save that fucking piece of turd.
And it turns Superman into a deadbeat dad.
Oh my god, I just can't.
Didn't he catch a plane in that one too?
That is the old, and he lifts a giant island of kryptonite. That's all he does in the entire movie.
Like this would be like if you made, I don't know, like one of the most evil human beings on Earth, like tell the story of Gandhi.
It was bad.
He hated this fucking
That's why it's not part of the DC universe.
Right.
It's bad. Right. It was bad.
So Man of Steel is certainly the jumping point. It is
agree.
the kickoff of the modern DC cinematic universe, and we get a tried and true origin story. And it took up a good 30 minutes at the beginning of the film.
Krypton looked really good in that film. I like that vision of Krypton. I will always consider Krypton kind of like that crystally thing, like Man of Steel, like the Donner version of Krypton. That to me is Krypton, but I did enjoy this one, although it had a little bit of a Pandora feel to it.
Yeah, the giant lizard creatures and things. I don't know. To me, I still have that. I'm still very imprinted on the Donner crystal kryptonite, like just world of ice and glass. It's a beautiful setting, and some of the best music ever written for a movie was during some of these scenes.
Oh yeah,
and you got fucking Marlon Brando as Jor-El. Like these are, I mean, granted, rose-tinted glasses. These are great films, but I think Man of Steel dropped the ball on Krypton. I
think it looked like he said to Pandora. I didn't believe this was a superior race of beings. This looked like jungle cats or something. I don't know what it was. It was not. It was. They dropped the ball completely. And they did not explain the technology at all. They didn't really even use technology. What the hell is the floating Jeeves?
Why are you cloning yourselves? Why just fucking have kids? You just take out the best part of life.
Well, yeah, they get to that apparently. The actual making. We get an intercourse still.
Yeah, sweet.
But yeah, the technology, they didn't explain it. They didn't try to. They just pretty much said, oh yeah, we put all of these Kryptonians inside of you. We don't know. We didn't tell you how. Or why?
I'm like, oh, kind of gross.
Yeah, I have all these little. It's like beans filled with semen, but everywhere.
That's a visual.
So Krypton, wow, just unfortunate.
There was parts of it I liked, but yeah, it was. Come on, it did. It looked like whatever, just Krypton.
For the most part, I loved this movie, but it had some very controversial things going on inside.
I think there could have been a better balance between this Superman and some of that Boy Scout Christopher Reeve Superman. I mean, there's times when he is saving people and he's got like emo sad face. Like Superman's actually like, oh,
but I'm
saving people.
But that's the thing, man. This is an origin story. He's had the suit on for like a day. He's never been in a fight in his life. Literally never. And then he's got to fight like military trained Kryptonians. He's never had to like think about collateral damage or using his powers in a combat situation. The fact that he did as well as he did, motherfucker should get a medal. Oh, or a statue. Oh, they gave him a statue.
He showed that fence, though. Woo!
Oh, God, that poor fence.
I don't know. I agree with Andy here. He always seemed, when he was doing what should be fun for him, because he obviously knows he has no equal here, it looks like he's, like, bored.
And that's the difference between the Jonathan Kents that we got from the films. Kevin Costner, great actor, good guy. Not a good.
You know he's a good guy.
I know. I hang with him. I danced with wolves with him.
Oh,
but
Tatanka.
But tell him, Clark, just let the kids die next time. What?
Jesus.
Seriously? Like, that is not Jonathan Kent. And he's like, Dad, I'm going to save you. Nah.
Well, I think they kind of changed it around to where what Jonathan Kent usually is in the comics was kind of transferred over to Jor-El. And I mean, I understand that Jonathan Kent, the character, is coming from in the movie, where he's scared that he's going to lose his son and what the world will do to his son once he's revealed. And that's why he sacrifices himself.
But I will agree.
Tornado.
I mean, I like Jor-El better in this one. Maybe it's the actor.
You like Russell Crowe?
Yeah.
Fighting around the world.
I mean, he did a good job, at least, for the little short part that we saw him, and then the animated or projection of him.
I didn't have any. I don't know. I feel like the performance was forgettable, but not bad.
Yeah, you don't remember it being bad. We kind of remember Costner as being bad.
I don't know. I kind of like Costner's rendition of Pa Kent. I think having Costner as like this, like, he was so protective of like his adopted son that he didn't want him to like reveal that and like hurt himself because he cared more about his son than the world.
I get that part of it. I do. But I also see him going like, I want to protect you, but you did the right thing, son. Like, life is worth protecting. It is worth, like, so that's the Jonathan Kent I was kind of hoping for.
But that's the thing. You see him die in a tornado, and Clark's like, I'll never not try to save somebody again. I need a way to be able to do it. And then he goes to find his Kryptonian background.
So your argument was, when he dies, he was the best in the movie.
yeah, sure. The death of Kevin.
So you're right. He was bad before he died. Moving on.
Oh, poor Pa Kent. Dicks to Pa Kent.
I mean, I will say that him dying in the tornado was a very emotional moment. Like,
I never got emotionally attached to Superman. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't view him as like a mortal being, which he's not. So I've never been able to like directly attach to him. So I can't really have that emotional connect. So some of your superheroes you can, but I know like Phil can completely. But
you just look, man. Man of Steel. He came first. You wouldn't even have there never would have been a Batman without a Superman. You just got to respect like the source material.
Sure, absolutely.
And I think that the way Superman's been treated in modern comics and in cinema is amazing. They're giving him the depth that most hardcore Superman fans see already on the page, but everyone else sees like a Boy Scout who gets cats out of trees.
Right.
But he's really like a super tortured like human being. He's fucking alone in the entire universe. So he's like the different side of the same coin as Batman. They're both orphans, one on a much grander scale than, two bullets. As opposed, a world blowing up. I just think, maybe one's a little bit more damaged.
Superman has no actual memory of that happening. That is ingrained.
You got to watch a whole fucking metal movie on the wall about it. You got to like see
The-
like
the
a diorama,
movie.
another spaceship
Another
diorama.
spaceship diorama.
It's just
Thank
like
God there was no Kurt Russell tentacle porn
Right.
this time.
Russell
So,
Crowe tentacle porn.
God no.
No. So the one saving
Boo.
grace of this movie, for me, was Zod.
Oh, and Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon's a
amazing.
great actor.
Michael Shannon is definitely I guess a jack of all trades, where like he's hysterical in The Night Before as their drug dealer,
Right.
and then he's great in horror movies, dramas, anything. Like the Boardwalk Empire, he was amazing in.
Do you know what his greatest role is though? When he read that letter of the on YouTube of For Funny or Die from the crazy sorority that was like
Oh,
attacking their own members.
yeah.
If you haven't seen this, go on YouTube and just type in Michael Shannon sorority letter. If you want to just crap your pants laughing for a couple hours.
I mean, I thought you were going to say the drug dealer in the trunk of Martin Lawrence and Will Smith's car in Bad Boys 2.
Oh shit, that was Michael Shannon,
It
wasn't it?
was.
Crazy. So yeah, but so obviously he's got a super illustrious career. Like Michael Shannon's a great fucking actor.
And
Zod
he
was
did.
amazing.
Yep.
He did great playing Zod. I mean, I always say that if you even want to have a remotely good superhero film, you better have a really good villain.
Mm-hmm.
And this villain was not your typical, oh, I want to take over the earth just for power. He actually had a purpose. Zod was designed to protect his people. And he's doing it at all costs. Like, he's doing it for what he believes is right.
Well, that's how we get to the genetically engineering people instead of birthing. So he was, genetically engineered to be the protector by force of his people.
And then speaking of Zod, kind of leads into, I think, the biggest controversy of the whole movie was, does Superman kill?
I think that this is not only an origin story from like a geographical perspective or intergalactic geographical perspective.
Geographical.
This is an origin story of his code. Superman. This is a huge controversy about this movie. Everyone went in, they're like bitching and moaning that Superman killed Zod at the end of the film. Superman doesn't fucking kill. Superman's not a killer. Like, thank you. I'm glad to know you've been a Superman fan for a week and a half.
Right.
This is a person too. He didn't just wake up one day and say, I will never kill anything ever. He just got into his first fight using his powers in his whole life. And in the process, took down a whole fucking city.
Well, you actually saw him losing this fight too. Like, because, like you said before, he's not trained. These people are militarily trained to fight using their powers.
Well, maybe not with the powers, but definitely to fight. And the powers just enhance how dangerous they are with them. Sort of like if you gave Batman super strength.
Right.
That'd be dangerous as fuck.
He's deadly.
If Superman has a no killing code, that's all well and good. Show me why.
You just got shown.
That shows you why.
Yeah. And everybody they're like, oh, he doesn't kill. He's never killed Zod before. Did you think in the first Superman films when Christopher Reeves pushes them into a massive pit, they're going into like a nice heated pool at the bottom of that?
Right.
Like, he killed them.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh. Like, well, Zod,
he killed them in the late 80s, in the comic book in the late 80s, early 90s.
Giant cellophane ass shield.
Which started a storyline where he goes crazy because of the guilt and starts having multiple personalities.
Right.
That's how the Guardians created.
And I think that's what they're trying to show us. It wasn't like he killed him instantly. Like, he didn't even think about it. He asked Zod to stop. He begged him to stop. He tried to control him to pull away from killing those people. And it was Earthlings that he's grown up with his entire life, or this one man he's never met before that's trying to hurt them. And of course, he's going to make that decision. Like, that just, and then, you could see the grief afterwards. You could see him, like, yelling and screaming. Like,
I thought that was a very well performed scene, too, by Henry Cavill.
oh, yeah. He didn't want to do that. He did not want to kill this guy. And maybe that's, from now on, that feeling, like, in the comics and what you just said, that guilt's going to live with him forever. So maybe they gave us the reason why he doesn't kill.
This is an origin of his code, as well as where he was born. This is a great idea. Like, nobody's really ever explored that in a Superman film before. He just shows up one day and is like, I don't kill and I take care of kids and everything is American. Yeah.
Right. But I think that also leads us into the next movie really well. Because in this movie, he's faced with a lot of mortal threats and he doesn't kill them, which he could instantly.
Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice is a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far.
It is a great movie. It has a lot more pluses than it has minuses.
We'll go over them.
We certainly will. Fuck you, haters.
It had the potential to be really, really good.
It fulfilled its potential,
So-
Tim.
So we get a good redeeming factor for me is Affleck.
Affleck.
I think all of us in this room bitched and moaned, threw a hissy fit the second we heard Ben Affleck.
I was super happy.
Of
Actually.
course, you say that now, but I remember conversations, sir.
No. Remember, because I was like, at that time, I was going through a really positive Batman, anti-Batman phase. Like, I was like really hardcore trash talking the Bat. Like just for a lot of different reasons. We're not going to go over it again. I've balanced the scales of my carrying of the two characters, but. I was super happy when I heard Bat because for negative reasons. Because dude, the guy from Good Will Hunting's gonna be wasn't he like Bong? He did fucking Jay and Silent Bob movies and shit.
Yeah. I was so against it because my biggest concern was I want to go and watch the movie and I want to have that immersion. I go to the movies to get away for a while, and my fear was that I was just going to see Ben Affleck cosplaying as Batman.
Yeah,
that was my concern. And
Park the car if I have a yard.
I heard that and was like, oh well, Daredevil's a shit movie. But like he had been coming back with The Town and Argo, but he kind of directed those movies too.
Yeah,
or not kind of, he did. So what's he gonna do when he's just acting? I guess was my thing. It's like
my biggest thing was I could see Affleck being Bruce Wayne. I think he could be a great Bruce Wayne, play the playboy, the intellectual person. I could see that. I couldn't see Affleck in a bat suit fighting. Like I don't see Good Will Hunting Affleck fighting. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
But Sweeney, he was amazing.
He was. The warehouse scene was Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, the whole Arkham style fighting game. Like when he was going nuts in that warehouse, that to me, I was like, Batman.
It was
Batman right there.
We never really have seen that outside of the animated series.
That vicious fighting style.
Right, because even we go back to the old Batmans, 89, the 90s, he fought with singular people or like a little group, and he would just kind of like do some like tricks and like tie him up in the air or, hit him one time and they fall down. You don't really get to see like the full on. I'm smarter than you. I'm more skilled than you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to kick all your asses.
Where
at the
is
same
she?
time.
Where's Rachel?
Where is she?
The best thing to... Oh, my God,
but,
yes.
I actually don't like him as Bruce Wayne.
No.
To me, he's a great Batman. The Bruce Wayne, again, with the whole negative to everything has to be dark and gritty. Like, when he's playing Bruce Wayne, he's kind of moping around. He's kind of just, like, constantly just... pissed. I get the whole notion that Snyder is saying, well, it's because he's already had loss and all this tragedy and everything, but he still needs that playboy persona. We never got that.
No.
But he's so like burned at this point in his career that he's Batman even when he isn't in the fucking suit. That's amazing. That just shows what his destiny is.
But in the Nolan films...
There'll be no more Bruce Wayne.
In the Nolan films... Bale's Batman gets to that point also. Like, he has tragic loss. He has all that. But when he goes out as Bruce, he still is that flaunty billionaire playboy. And to me, that's why Bale's Bruce Wayne is the best one on film.
What about the third one when he becomes like a recluse who built the spruce moose? This dirty-ass hair, his crazy long toenails.
I will agree. I didn't mind it because this is old Batman. This is not young 20s, or right into... Batman. He's been around me. Hell, he lost a Robin. We see the suit. We see, ha ha ha, jokes on you, bullet holes, bloodied Robin suit. I mean, how would you feel if you lost someone who was like a son to you?
The fact that he could pretend to be drunk and still come off as that playboy after all that shit, I think Affleck played it right. I think though him not going like flamboyant like playboy and more like, tragic old man, like I'm gonna die rich but alone. Like that was a smart decision.
He's not the worst Bruce Wayne.
No.
But he wasn't my favorite. But he is my favorite Batman.
And I think it is too. We just got that big difference of Snyder's, Bruce Wayne, and then this was next. We got through the whole trilogy. And now we had nothing, and then we got a new version. And I do think that's what throws a lot of people off is they're trying to compare it to that. Like this came after that. No, this is a completely different universe. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement, though, that Ben Affleck pulled it off. He is a good Batman.
I agree.
Now, what about your thoughts on Lex Luthor?
Oh, God.
We're all going to agree that was one of the shittiest casting choices.
It's Jesse Eisenberg is playing Lex Luthor as the Riddler, or the Riddler as Lex Luthor.
No, some Joker nuttiness thrown in there.
You could have just played. You could have just played the Social Network. Your character in the Social Network.
I think he did.
And you would have been fine.
Pretty much.
I mean,
and he like pissed in a jar.
Right. Like I just.
Damn.
Like what? Like what?
You're not wrong.
What was up with the whole like Jolly Rancher in the mouth thing? Because
that was creepy AF.
No, like.
So when I heard rumors, before filming, everybody's like, "Oh, Bryan Cranston could be Luthor." I was like,
"That'd be
perfect."
Amazing.
Holy shit!
Social media is feeding you the greatest casting choice you can make. And you go with Jesse Eisenberg. And I was like, all right, I'm going to give him a chance.
I thought Jesse Eisenberg would have been a good Lex Luthor, especially after seeing him play Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network.
Right.
I thought he would have pulled it off. I honestly did.
They made him this quirky, like, kid. Like, not intelligent, not super, like, cocky or, like, business. Like, just, like, it made him this quirky little teenager.
Yeah, I don't really think he ever like showed any kind of like scientific genius, and Lex Luthor is like a ninth level intellect.
Right, he's one of the most intelligent people in the universe.
It might be the nerdiest thing I've said in like a week and a half.
That's okay. It's a safe place here, Phil.
Thank you.
So, I was extremely disappointed because I wanted like you said, a good villain makes a movie.
Yeah,
and while he's not like necessarily the villain, we know. He is. Like, he's behind it all.
Even the casual moviegoer knows Lex Luthor is a villain.
Right. You see Lex Luthor with Batman, they're synonymous. It's like the Batman and Joker. It's like the synonymous villain. And we got this psychotic tween.
Super neurotic.
And part of that was the editing choice for the theatrical cut. They left out a lot of what caused him to kind of go nutty at the end, with him, like, being in the... Genesis pool and seeing Steppenwolf and being told these are mother boxes, we're coming to fuck your earth up because Superman is dead.
Like, why did they cut that out?
That's cut that out.
Part.
So at the very end, when he's like, ding, 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 the bells of toll, everyone out in space knows, so they're coming now because Superman's dead. Everyone in the theater, especially the casuals, are like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Right.
Because they fucking cut it out of the movie.
Came out of left field.
I'll admit the theatrical release made some poor decisions in the editing department, but let's all agree that we're going to talk about the director's cut, because the director's cut is how the film was meant to be portrayed.
I agree.
Yeah.
Just for fairness to Zack Snyder, I'm sure he had some people pull shit.
The suits need to back off,
yes.
And rumor is they are.
Did he have 2 flashback scenes back to back in the director's cut?
No.
Because Jesus Christ.
Okay, so we're going to get this out of the way right now because this has been a huge point of contention for people who watch this movie. When you see Batman in like the post-apocalyptic dark side and apocalypse have attacked and taken over Earth, Superman is like a fascist dictator, that is the future. That is actually what has taken place. And because of the events that took place there, Flash goes back in time, which is followed up by that scene where you got the lightning and like Bruce wakes up and like the Flash is coming out of the time portal like, you were right about him. Flash, with that one moment, put Batman on the path to evaluating maybe not killing Superman.
But why didn't they explain that better? Why didn't they try to give it a little bit more
it was
body inside of that
some
movie?
Of the editing choices just made me like...
I love that scene.
I do. I love it because it's very much taken from Injustice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got the reign of Superman because Lois is dead. And then you get a actual Flash, like, ripping through time. Like, he's already going through the fucking time force to cut, and there's no explanation. It's just thrown on screen.
Just poof.
Right. And I like to think that I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to comic books and the storylines. But when I have to audibly just go, what the fuck just happened in a movie theater?
What the hell? I did not have this moment. I understood exactly what was happening as I saw the film. There's no what the fuck. I was like, cool, he just changed the timeline.
My first time seeing it, I thought that was Cyborg at first.
I did too.
I
did too.
Why is Cyborg telling him?
Right. I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think it was poorly edited.
It doesn't make me dislike the entire movie, but that was part of where I was like, hey.
They could have made some better choices, editing-wise.
Okay.
So
I get that, and we'll just have to agree to disagree. But let's talk about how this film had some pretty sweet homages to Death of Superman and Dark Knight Returns. I mean, these were not. I think a lot of people went into this movie thinking that they were going to see this was just going to be the Dark Knight Returns, but nobody wants to really. That paints them into a corner. But taking these really amazing elements of these stories and making one of them was, I think, a good decision. I think that Batman in the wannabe Iron Man suit going toe-to-toe with a Kryptonite weekend Superman fight was fantastic.
Yeah, I think that part was great.
It was handled well.
I don't like why he stopped going to kill him.
Oh, well, you don't like the fact that it takes a green rock to kill Superman, but all it takes to kill Batman is mentioning his mommy.
Right. Like, the reason he stopped was because he said his mom's name.
Why'd you say that name?
Like, I know you have ties to your mom and there's some issues there, but that's all it would take.
God, Martha.
Right.
That's another head scratcher.
It makes perfect sense for me, man. The biggest badass in the world, Batman, is ruined by the sheer memory of his parents.
Batman is standing on Clark's throat,
right,
about to skewer him, and Superman says, Martha, not mom or my mother, Martha. I've never referenced my mother like Sharon.
Well, he's trying to hide his identity. If he gives Batman her real name, he'll find her easier. It's kind of like here's find this person. What does she look like? Her name's Martha.
Right. Like, that was just bad. I'm sorry. Like, you could have maybe had Wonder Woman come in and stop it or something, which don't even be started on her appearance in this movie, because why the hell was she there?
I think that Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman was one of the best parts of the film, and her showing up was a great, she's been underground and like a spy this whole time since her unveiling to the world, and now she's there's a reason to be called back to battle. And I can't wait for her movie.
The only reason they did it was just because her movie's coming out, which I agree. I'm excited for that movie, but you could have taken every one of her scenes out of this one, and the movie would have been fine.
I think it would have been better served if Wonder Woman came out before Batman vs. Superman, because you had that scene where she's looking at the picture of all of her teammates or battalion that's going to appear in Wonder Woman, but the casual viewer is just kind of like, oh, all right, whatever. There's no emotional attachment to that scene.
I thought either that or we've discussed before, her scene almost being in the post-credits. Right. And that's her finding the footage on Luthor's laptop of all the other metahumans out there. So that would have been a great, hey, here's something to look forward to.
Yep.
They now know that there's others out there like them. But you put that right in the middle of the movie, and it kind of was like, oh, cool.
I think we can all agree there were some poor editing choices taken here. But somebody out there should fan edit the film.
I agree.
I'd love to see that. I'd watch the hell out of that.
And we get a great villain. Again, the real villain, Doomsday. So, he looks weird at first. I'm not going to lie.
I was expecting more bone
looks like a cave troll.
He looks like a cave troll, but then we kind of see how, as things happen to him, he evolves, which is the whole premise of Doomsday. So I think that was a good choice. But at first, I definitely was like, what is this thing? Why does it look this way?
I'm a huge Death of Superman fan. It was probably the thing that got me into comics big time when I was a kid, when I was learning about all that. And I'm sorry, but Doomsday was a huge letdown for me. I don't like the origin story of Doomsday at all in this movie. Mm-hmm. I don't think that the audience of hardcore geeks like us would have had a problem understanding what Doomsday was. Just have him locked up in the ship or something.
Right.
There's Doomsday trapped and they bring him out of cryo sleep and he's just gonna fucking tear shit apart. That would have been perfect.
Not the altered body.
Yeah, Lex Luthor and Dead Zod's love child mutant creature. Come on, that was unnecessary. And yes, more spikes and shit.
And that's what I agree with. I was waiting for the bones to start to close around his eyes. So Marvel has this CGI where they make Ruffalo look like the Hulk. You still see Ruffalo's features and everything. This was Warner's chance to give us a CGI creation of straight from the comic books. Marvel's putting out character after character now that look like they've been pulled from the comics. Look at Hela in the trailer of Thor. She's wearing that big fucking antler thing. So to me, it was I want to see comic book Doomsday in this movie.
Why'd they make the decision to deviate? They have a perfect blueprint in front of them, and they choose to ignore it.
I thought that we were one movie too soon for Doomsday and the Death of Superman.
Well, Warner Brothers has been trying to do that for 20 years, ever since Kevin Smith was trying to do a movie in the 90s. So they got their wish, finally.
Was that with Nicolas Cage as
Nicolas
Superman?
Cage. Superman
Lives.
Nicolas Cage.
Superman Lives.
Yeah.
Long-haired Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And Tim Burton directing.
So we do get the death of Superman, which was the black comic book, right?
Mm-hmm.
It came in the black sleeve or whatever.
The red.
With the red. That's a great.
The newspaper stand one is the cape on the metal bar coming out of the rubble.
I just picked up the black bag one again. I had it when I was when we were teenagers, and I sat there for about 3 minutes after I purchased it. Like, I'm not going to open this. All right, I'm opening it. So I opened it. It was cool. It had like a black armband in there, and it had like a little metal clip, like pen, like "Rest in Peace, Superman." It had an obituary. And then just a few days ago, I was like, well, I need to buy this again so I can actually have it sealed.
You had such a nerd boner, didn't you?
I did.
Gross.
It was one of the first times I remember, though, is opening that back panel fold-out page in that comic book and seeing
out with Lois Lane crying and Superman's arm up.
Yeah, just laying there dead, and you actually you stop for a minute, and you're like,
yeah, it's awesome.
He's dead.
So in the movie we get that. We get Doomsday, the one creature that can kill Superman. Does it.
Kills him.
And I didn't know we were going to get that. I thought for sure, he's going to recover right then and there. He'll come back somehow or something, it'll dawn, the sun will come out and heal him or something, But no, he gone.
He'll be back.
Oh, of course.
Well, obviously, this is the death and return of Superman,
right,
which is fantastic. And this time we're not getting the Eradicator and Cyborg Superman,
Superboy.
Or Superboy with a leather jacket. Steel. I'm sorry.
Shaquille O'Neal coming back.
Dude, you'll never live it down.
Kazam.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Or Shaq Fu.
You leave Shaquille O'Neal alone. Shaq Fu.
So that's where we've left off, right? In the so far the DC universe, it's all we've gotten so far.
So I think we all agree that there are good things about Dawn of Justice and bad things. Luther sucked assholes with a straw, and they wrapped up the Man of Steel controversies pretty well.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So then the next installment in the DC cinematic universe was a film that I still don't understand the hype train to this day, but Suicide Squad.
Oh, my God.
Holy crap.
What possessed them to think this was a good idea?
Goddamn.
It was a good idea, but
not the way they did it.
I've heard of all these reshoots, and it still was.
I don't understand the hype behind the entire property in general.
Right.
I don't understand.
I think everybody was excited to seeing a group of the villains. Like, we want to see the villains do something, and instead of us getting the 6 or so core members of the Suicide Squad, we got a Deadshot, Harley, and these other dudes.
Right. And so first of all, the Joker is a touchy subject after Heath Ledger. I mean, that's the facts.
Mm.
No one can do it like him, obviously. Like, no one did Jack Nicholson after him.
Different Jokers.
But both lovable.
Both of them great.
So we get this. So another one of those oh my God moments. Like, why did they pick that guy?
You don't like Jared Leto as the Joker.
When I first heard it, didn't like it.
Oh, I liked it right away.
But then I started hearing his Joker laugh and the stuff he teased out. I thought, oh, okay, he looks sounds creepy. He might be able to pull this off. And then we get whatever monstrosity that was.
Tattoos, the fucking grill, the weird hair.
Dude, I'm still holding some kind of nerd belief that that's actually Jason Todd.
I'm still kind of holding on to that because to me, I'm sorry, but the Joker is not a nightclub owning pimp.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, guys, but that's the fucking Joker.
No, if they have to. Somebody out there's listening, and there's so many touches though to this guy that shows you it's Jason Todd. The J under the eye that gets carved into him in other iterations, branded into him by the Joker. The bullet holes in the costume, from Batman vs. Superman, matches up with bullet hole scars on this Joker.
Right.
So I'm hoping he's just so mentally gone that he thinks he's the Joker.
There is a huge flaw in this theory. Harley Quinn loves this Joker. It's Mr. J. It's the Joker, not Jason Todd.
Not unless she doesn't really know it's not.
Ooh, then she got some explaining to do.
What's happened to this other Joker that maybe she just latched onto this one There
Right.
could be all kinds of backstory to that.
Yeah, but it's just a monstrosity.
It is. They got a lot of backpedaling to do to
Yes,
try to make up for
they
it.
do.
I mean, I will say Margot Robbie was a good Harley Quinn. I thought
like
she
her
was
as
a great
Harley
Harley Quinn.
I liked Will Smith as Deadshot.
Yeah.
I did too. I thought he played a good shot. And I was concerned at the first, like, I thought Will Smith, there's no way they're going to give him the mask. He's not going to cover his face up. He's going to want to be out the whole time.
Right.
But he did. He put on the mask with the one eye, and I mean, it was amazing. I was very happy.
For one scene.
Oh, yeah.
Amanda
But,
Waller was great.
Yeah, she wasn't bad.
Ooh. I like the actress. She's done really good work. I wasn't buying this.
I like her
Amanda
Waller.
I didn't mind her,
yeah.
but I don't know much of the character outside of this that much.
I mean,
Did you have a lot of knowledge of Suicide Squad, like the team and all that before?
I knew what it was made of. I knew what
Yeah.
they did. I didn't really know a lot about it.
Yeah, so because of that movie, you got to know some of Deadshot's backstory.
Yeah.
You obviously know Harley Quinn.
Yep.
And they showed her and all that. So tell me, from that movie, what is Captain Boomerang's role? What does he do? Who is he?
To
Chugs
drink,
of Fosters.
to drink energy drinks and throw something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What
It's
did
Australian.
Killer
It's a
Croc
shitty
do?
movie.
Well, and that's I was kind of pissed about Killer Croc because I liked Killer Croc from the Batman Rogue Squad. You know, I like that. I like him going toe to toe with him, and we got this like pussy version of him.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
Again, another opportunity, CGI.
Yeah.
Like, give us a giant Killer Croc with, like, the actual animated, like, long snout. Like,
Well, show him actually doing something.
yeah.
What did he do? Who did he fight? Like, what did he do?
He pushed a button.
Yeah,
He grabs some guards
pushed
into
the
the
button.
water.
like that's just dumb.
This is an example of an attempt at an ensemble film where they stuffed it too full of bullshit. There's too many characters in this movie.
I love the look of Enchantress when she's that dirty, cloudy witch, and then we got her as that villain with her fucking trash heap brother.
I think Suicide Squad is just an example of Warner Brothers can't get out of their own way because we're getting a Batman movie, solo Batman movie, what, 2019? They
Maybe.
didn't want to wait. Maybe they didn't want to wait 2 years to introduce Joker and Harley Quinn in a Batman movie. Like just because like Suicide Squad is kind of a hot property-ish in the comics doesn't mean it's going to translate to
And it's
screen.
not even that great in the comics.
No.
It's not.
It kind of took off during New 52 a little bit.
Right, but even before New 52, like nothing.
No.
Like,
But I don't want to hate on these characters because I love Harley Quinn from the animated Batman series.
Right.
I love the character in general, but these are characters that were treated with very little respect. Harley Quinn and the Joker belong in a Batman film. You're right, 100%. But they didn't stop.
No.
right, especially if you're going to introduce these characters into the cinematic universe for the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also think like that. I lost train of thought.
That's all right. Like, so Suicide Squad in general, what we're looking at here is a movie with like 15 characters, some of which who like are introduced in literal sentence dialogue, like
Right.
Katana. Like, she's here and she literally just shows up on the damn chopper. It's like, and then the guy's like just says, "Don't get cut by her sword because that shit'll take your soul."
Right. Well, that's what I was gonna say. I figured I was gonna say. I feel like this was Warner Brothers' attempt to do a Guardians of the Galaxy. Kind of like those characters we really didn't know about before this movie, and they brought them all together and they did wonderful. Warner Brothers was like, hey, let's do that with the Suicide Squad. Not everybody really knows all these people. Not really supposed to be together and
Fun and
fighting.
wacky.
Fun. Let's do it.
Those characters just don't have, they're forced to work together, so they don't really feel like they're any point in time bond as a team.
Right.
Like
No,
Guardians
no.
is a family. The Suicide Squad is somebody's black op operation of a bunch of idiots they were lucky enough to catch.
Right.
I don't care.
No.
And I liked the look of Harley.
Yeah.
I do like that actress. She pulled it off. The one thing I'm missing, another character of Harley, the thing that makes Harley Harley is that Brooklyn accent.
Yep.
So when
I
we
agree.
didn't get it, it was like Rogue One without John Williams music.
Amen.
I got a Harley Quinn without that Brooklyn accent.
Yep.
And I was like,
Sinful.
Even Injustice 2 has the right voice for Harley.
yeah, it's Tara Strong. She does an amazing job.
She's been doing that voice for a long time, and I don't imagine anyone else sounding like Harley Quinn.
The
Mr.
originator
J.
of that voice.
Mr. J.
Well, Arlene Sorkin does it. Yeah, she did it first, and then Tara Strong sounds just like her.
Right.
They're
But
great.
but looks wise, and I don't mean this like from like a pervert way, but,
Yes,
but
you do.
she
she was hot.
looks like Harley Quinn. She looks like right
She
off
does.
the page.
Yep,
She
I agree.
looks like
The
her.
style was done well. I don't know, maybe a little bit overly sexualized. Like, really, you think Harley Quinn's going to fight in Daisy Dukes? Party pants. Doesn't
I
seem
don't
like
think
very
she
good
cares
armor.
what she's fighting.
Yeah, she usually fights whenever she has on.
No hyenas
No hyenas.
and no giant hammer.
No, she have a bat though.
That's all right. The giant hammer.
Yeah, I know. It's good to see in the comics every now and then.
I like when she's going through her belongings in the prison and she pulls up the classic costume.
Yeah, and throws it away.
I thoroughly enjoyed the brief second that we had of them dancing, and he's in
The Alex Ross
from the
cover.
Alex Ross
Yes.
cover. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great scene. That's one of the best. I think it's one of the best Harley Quinn Joker covers ever done.
I would say that so far in this DC universe, visually, it's been great. Like the visual aspect of it. I know a lot of people give Zack Snyder a bad time for putting that like blue filter over everything, and it does kind of darken down Superman sometimes. But overall, I haven't been disappointed visually. It's just some of
I'll give you
these
that,
editing
yeah.
choices,
Some of the editing choices and
direction,
Suicide
and
Squad.
they are missing a Kevin Feige.
In Suicide Squad, I just didn't care about the villain. I didn't care why they were there to fight them. I just had no
They fought
attachment.
themselves.
Yeah.
They created this situation themselves. In the movie, I don't give a shit if they die because they just made Enchantress, like, you just let her free. And
Right.
You just screwed up the town. And now you have to go in to rescue your own boss. Like, you guys caused this problem.
Right.
Like going back to what you said about Guardians of the Galaxy and how they wanted to make their own Guardians is it's different where, Guardians, like, yes, they're a family, but they do come together in the first one, but ultimately they have good reasons, they're good, means.
Right.
But the Suicide Squad, they're just all villains who just don't care. Like ultimately they're in it for themselves.
So don't
And
get their head blown off.
Right, and you don't really kind of connect with that.
No.
You're just like, whatever.
Right. So we all can agree, movie sucked. Terrible.
Fuck this whole movie.
Well, that wraps up our first portion of the DC Cinematic Universe review. Coming up in our next podcast, we'll be discussing the brand new Wonder Woman movie coming out soon. And finally, we're going to get our great Justice League. So thanks again for listening. We'll catch you next time.